Oh boy, it's Pokemon the first movie. I can't wait to share this with my boys, in order to show them how cool Mewtwo is and how much of a wimp Mew is.
Hey, Mew's pretty good. They have almost even stats for Mew and Mewtwo. Why would you say that Mewtwo is better? I must avenge what you have done.
Why do I honestly leave the door unlocked?
Hello and welcome, I'm the LegendaryPokéMaster, and today we are going to be comparing Mew and Mewtwo. Now, there is a 99% chance that you're going to say Mewtwo would win. But I went looking through Mew's stats, and there are actually quite a few, equal kind of things. So we are going to compare them to see who would actually win once and for all. So, without further ado, let's start. First, I just want to get a few things off the table. Mewtwo has Mega Evolution. So basically, it could pummel Mew as Mega Mewtwo X or Mega Mewtwo Y. But we're gonna disregard that because it's Month of Origins, you know? Also, it's a new edition, and this is titled Mewtwo vs. Mew, not Mega Mewtwo X and or Y versus Shadow Mewtwo slash... Wait, what? Mega Mewtwo X or Y and Shadow Mewtwo versus Mew. So let's start comparing stuff. A good place to start in comparisons is stats. When we look at them side by side, Mewtwo obviously has a higher base stat total overall. However, it's when we compare individual stat areas that it gets interesting. In both defenses, Mew tends to have a higher stat, and in HP and attack, Mewtwo only barely comes out ahead. Special attack is what boosts the stat total of Mewtwo to such a greater extent, being 54 more than Mew. So in terms of stats, Mewtwo comes out ahead, but when you break it down, not by too much. Next, let's pair some of these stats with moves. Mewtwo's special attack stat being so high, it needs some good moves to really take advantage of that. And it does deliver. Only by leveling up, Mewtwo learns some of the best special attacks in my opinion, such as Aura Sphere, Future Sight, and its signature move, Psy Strike. These three in particular have good side effects, I guess you would call them, paired with a very high power level. Yeah, that's pretty high. When Mewtwo is using them, Future Sight and Psy Strike also get stabs, so yeah. On the other hand, we have Mew. In terms of how many moves Mew learns, Mew kinda blows Mewtwo away. Wait, what do I mean kind of? Mew learns every move. I mean, what did you expect? It has the DNA of every Pokemon. Here, it doesn't really matter if you choose physical or special attacks because of how Mew has a base stat total of 100 in each category. Learning every TM, you could probably come up with a bunch of strategies, and the attack and special attack stats being even and relatively powerful aid that. For that reason, but once again not by much, I'd say Mew wins this category. Now we're going to look at the capabilities of the two, speaking of which I made a video on this. Please watch that video, it doesn't have too many views compared to my sub count. By capabilities, I mean the things that they could do outside of battle that contribute to their strengths. Mew and Mewtwo are very similar in this category because they're both psychic types that would be assumed to have not as much physical strength, rather relying on their psychic abilities. Mewtwo does a bunch of things. He does that, and this, and all these here. It can move clouds, which also apparently makes you need to go by boat. It also made that entire lab explode in the first movie, so that's somewhat of an asset, and he could talk. Now there's a Pokemon. And then there's Mew. Mew never really showed off its capabilities too much in the movies, but it does say in the Pokédex, like I said before, that it does possess the DNA of all Pokemon. This lets it learn a bunch of moves, which can be helpful outside the battles. Have a drought? Rain Dance and Mew's got your back. Have a flood? Sunny Day and Mew's got your back. However, since Mew can really only learn 4 moves at a time, while Mewtwo can kinda just manipulate stuff at will, I'll give this one to Mewtwo. Now this one could be debatable, because technically, there could be more than one Mewtwo or Mew. However, in the case of Mew, it's basically shown that the only Mew left in the world is the one present in the first movie. That's shown by the opening cutscene. On the other side, Mewtwo was created artificially, and the first and only successful attempt was made in a lab. This lab, and also Mewtwo blew that up shortly afterwards. So there's probably only one Mewtwo for that reason. So let's take both of those into account. When Mewtwo was created in a lab, the scientist who made him said, "This is the most powerful Pokemon." Which means even though Mewtwo was in development for a short amount of time, the whole gang here probably tweaked it to level 100. Pro hack. attacks. Mew is honestly also probably at level 100, being the last Mew and thus around for quite a long time. Also, in the movie, it was able to hold its own against Mewtwo. So in this category, I would consider it a tie. Mewtwo. Okay, I won't count this one. With 2 of the 4 going to Mewtwo, 1 going to Mew, and the other being a draw, Mewtwo is probably the winner here. Its stats are quite ahead of Mew overall, and that special attack could basically annihilate Mew with a good strategy. But the debate is really up to your opinion, so what do you think? Which one of these 2 would truly win, and why? Please leave a comment down below. You could also subscribe if you're new to see videos like this twice a week. Regardless, Mega Mewtwo Y is a powerhouse, and I will see you in the next video.